Hi, so I have officially made it to the Virgin Islands. I'm in St. Croix. It is the largest island of the three. Um, it's more countryside than anything. There are places where you can go where you can get some beautiful views. Um, like today, I ended up at a pool party, and that was cool because the view itself there was amazing. Yesterday I went and I ate on the pier, so that was cool because I was able to be around the water. But I'm here for a total of, what is it, a month. My academy date has been set, so my date to show up at Flexi is now May the 11th as my report date, and the classes start on the 21st. So as of now, the newest update that I have for Academy for me has been, it'll be 7 months, I believe. Yeah, it'll be 7 months that I waited to get to Academy. So just keep in mind, if you are still waiting, just continue to be patient. The process is moving along. They're trying to get everybody in. What they did is they started to open up two more facilities that they have just so they can get classes through. Um, the good part is that if you are currently vaccinated, as of now, if you're currently vaccinated when you go to Academy, you are able to leave the campus um, on the weekends or after the day ends. I believe the day ends at 4:30. So yeah, you're able to leave the campus, which is good. Um, that was the main reason why I went and decided to get vaccinated in hopes that this would take place, and it did. So then that way I'm not stuck on the campus for 4 months. Um, but yeah, so I go Academy May the 11th to report. I graduate September the 27th. So the run, I'm telling you, it's serious. I keep getting questions sent, even on my social media sites. If you are concerned about the run, I would suggest that you go ahead and actually start preparing right now. It's no sense of waiting. It's no sense of asking questions, trying to delay anything, trying to say, oh, I'm worried about this, I'm scared. Because if you haven't received I wouldn't say if you haven't received the EOD, but if you haven't even EOD yet, you have plenty of time. Get ready, start preparing now. Go to the gym, run. Don't just run 1.5 miles. Try to do 2 miles or a little more. My suggestion, like I stated on the last video, is to go ahead and challenge yourself, do different things. So what I did is I started off by just saying, if I could just run nonstop for 15 minutes. I was able to do that. I'm able to do that. That's not a problem. I still have to get my run time down. I want to cut it. I need to cut it by 2 minutes. If I cut it by 2 minutes, I'll be right at 14 minutes. Right now I'm at 16 minutes. But I can run nonstop. That's not the problem. I just have to find that pace. Once I find my pace that I'm able to just consistently run at, that'll keep me at a good time, then I'll be fine. But it's important. Don't like don't it is I don't know how much I can stress this. Do not, if you're waiting, do not wait until the last minute and say, oh well, I'll go to Academy and then I'll start working out then. Why be behind? Go ahead, start doing some physical activities now. Work on your push-ups, do your running, get your stamina up, do something, okay? Because the last thing that you want to do is accept a job. You're on probation. The academy is a requirement. Like, you have to pass the physical fitness portion of it, and you also have to pass all of the tests, okay? I won't say all. I think you can fail one test, but take that out of your mind. Just keep in mind that you need to pass all of the tests. The academy, from what I've heard from different people, is not set up to fail you. That's not the purpose. Is set up for you to pass. You have to do your part, though, to ensure that you pass. The physical fitness portion is the main thing that holds a lot of people back. It's the main thing that kicks people out. When I mean kicked out, I mean you have 3 tests, physical fitness tests. You have one when you first enter the academy. I think it's about 1 weekend. Now, this is after you do your quarantine for 10 days. So that first week, once you actually start, you're going to have your PT test. Halfway through, you're going to have another PT test. Those 2 don't count. Okay? Those 2 do not count. It's really to get an idea of where you are. But you don't want to go in with the mindset, well, these 2 don't count. I could just wait to the last one. No, get your stuff together now. Get it together now. That third one, the final one, I think is done maybe like a week or so before graduation. If you fail that, you no longer have a job. You don't go back to your port. No, you're going home. You no longer have a job. So that means that you have quit whatever job you were working, said that you were going to go work for Customs and Border Protection. You did not do your part. And now, since you failed your physical fitness portion, you're out of a job. And now you have to figure out what you're going to do. Do not think that this is a game. They are not playing. It is not, oh, well, I was able to do everything else perfectly. They're just going to let me slide by with this 20-mile run, 20-minute mile and a half run. No. That third one, that last one is what counts. If you do not pass that, and I mean that mile and a half, that 220-yard dash, and your 24 push-ups within a minute or less, if you do not pass, you are out of a job. Period, point blank. Okay? So, if you're concerned about any of those things, I suggest that you get on it now. Start practicing. Get it together, because they are not playing with you. And especially for us people who have entered on duty and we've been there for a long time, they really are not playing with us, because they're looking at us like, oh, what have you been doing for the last 6 or 7 months? You had plenty of time to get it together. And they're right. So me, been working out. I have like this physical boot camp that I do. We have run days in St. Croix this time. This was my first week here. Well, I came in last Sunday. Today is Sunday, the 18th. Today is Sunday the 18th. Disregard, I just flipped the camera. But yeah, today is Sunday, April the 18th. I've been here for a week. I've worked out Monday through Friday. I ran on Friday. I did 4.5 miles on the treadmill. I felt like I was gonna die, but I got it done. This week coming up for my boot camp, I have 3 days of working out indoors and 2 run days. And those run days for this particular boot camp that I'm doing, we run 4.5 miles each run day. So my goal is to get to academy, pass my physical fitness test that first week that we do it, so I know that I can do it, which I know I can. And that way I don't have to worry about that. The only thing that I'm just going to focus on really would be studying and passing the test. No one wants you to come here to fail. No one wants you to take the job to not actually get it done. Everybody wants you to succeed. But if everybody else around you wants you to succeed, but you're the person that's holding yourself back, it falls on you. So again, do what you have to do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, questions that I've been receiving. Right now I can't think of anything else. do your usual, like the video, subscribe, drop questions, so then that way I know what's what. And then also you can keep in a know. Um, if you're waiting on something in the process, please just be patient. Like I said, I've always stated, no news is good news. If they don't want you, they're going to respond and they're going to tell you something. Okay? So just continue being patient. COVID has backed everything up tremendously. You all are not alone. They're actually, if you're going through your process, you should have received the email because they're coming out with like a new, like a application center. I don't even really know what to call it. I guess we'll call it applications. But it's basically, if you're a current applicant, you have everything on file instead of using the CBP job app. They have something else, and it's supposed to be like more accurate than CBP app. The CBP job app should be discontinued, I believe, at the end of May, and that new site will take over everything. So make sure you get logged into that. Try to figure that out ahead of time. Oh, I do want to tell you all something. If this is your first time actually applying, and if you look at something like your GS level, be careful how you answer the questions. Like when you're actually applying, if you answer no to a certain question and that question is based off of the GS level you're applying for, you just shot yourself in the foot basically, because they're not, and it says on USA Jobs, like they're not going to go into the system, like into your resume and look at your resume and compare your resume to the GS level which you would qualify for. They're looking at how you answer those questions. So if you answer yes to everything and you actually have it, then you should be able to show it in your resume. But if you answer no to something, so like a question that makes you eligible for that GS level, but it's on your resume, they're not going to look at your resume to say, oh, well, they actually do have the qualification, so we'll go ahead and get, nope. It don't work like that. Speaking from experience, because when I applied, I did not understand the question fully. Like I don't know where my head was at. I really didn't understand it. It had something to do with compliance. But how I read it made it seem like you had to have experience with customs. And that's not, like, that wasn't the case at all, because I worked at a dentist office, so I definitely have experience with compliance. So I went back in and I actually reapplied, and I was able to get a higher GS level based off of me reapplying and having the information showing on my resume. So please, 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 please read over those questions thoroughly, making sure that you're answering them correctly. I know my biggest thing was I didn't want to say yes to something and then feel like they'll look at it like, oh, she's lying, when I just really didn't understand the question. Like I stated, I thought that it had to do with experience with customs and compliance, but that wasn't what the question was about. Like it didn't have to say necessarily just customs, but it was about compliance, like I stated, but I did have that experience. So yeah, definitely be careful if you're applying that way. Like I said, because they're not going to look over your resume to see what GS level you qualify for, if it should be higher than, based off of the answers that you gave them. So be mindful of that. If you're applying and you have a question about that, I'd rather you drop a comment, and my response time is usually good, but drop a comment instead before you fully complete the application. And if you all didn't know, the customs, the officer jobs, they usually open up like at the beginning of the month. So around like the first or so of the month. And they have a limit of how many applications they take in. Like even though it says that it's open, like it may be open, let's say May 1st through May 13th. But if they have a limit of 250 applications that they're accepting, and on the first, if they receive those 250 applications, then at that point, then a job is closed. So just be mindful of that, because you definitely want to get it in on time. Trying to think, is there anything else? There's nothing else that I can think of right now. Again, like I said, if you have any questions, drop a comment. I'll respond. Please work on your physical fitness. It's like, that's imperative. Get on that. Get on it. Get on it. And I'll give you all the next update later. Soon at some point, but you'll have one. All right. Good luck on your process and be blessed.